The solemn responsibility of safeguarding the nation's rich traditional culture lies with the Folk Research Center. The institution is a repository of books, songs, artifacts, and other formats and mediums that capture the essence and story of St. Lucia's fascinating cultural experience for posterity. But a lot of the encyclopedic records were consigned to the ashes when a fire on March 25, 2018 consumed the storied home, the FRC building at the summit of Mount Pleasant. 5 years later, the gatekeepers of St. Lucia's ritual customs, who mourn the devastating loss, are determined to rebuild and forge ahead.
One of the lasting remnants were, interestingly, kolpots kana winu ek nu isi apudi nu formem ko kana we are strong as a traditional St. Lucian kolpot, continuing to persevere, to push cultural development forward and to work towards national cultural development, as we have done now in our 50th year as a movement.
Founder of the FRC, Monsignor Patrick Anthony, exalted those who helped lay the groundwork for the preservation of the center in the wake of the fire. The FRC clings to the hope that St. Lucia's society will embrace the collective responsibility of advancing the island nation's unique culture.
One of the last battles for St. Lucia was fought on Mount Pleasant. I said to John, we cannot let that go outside. The children, this must be for the children of St. Lucia. We want to establish our headquarters there. We want that to be a place where St. Lucians, yet unborn, will be able to come here, cherish their history, discover their culture, and discover themselves. And so John said, for the children of St. Lucia, yes, yes. And that's why the government backed a loan for us. And the bank gave us a loan. And every year, they subsidize it. And then after Sir John went, Stephenson King did it, Kenny Anthony did. Every government has done it, supporting that dream that we have a place, a home for St. Lucian, for the children of tomorrow.
The FRC has since relocated to new surroundings, but remains wistful about the separation from the original location, longing for the day to return home. Chair of the Folk Research Center, Ember Charles, admits putting a material cost to the restoration of the fire-torn structure is difficult, not to mention the intrinsic value of the artifacts.
We don't know our figure right now because we don't know what we are completely going to do. First of all, to acquire the surrounding lands is already in the vicinity of $5 to $8 million if we have to go to that extent. But we have to start with our immediate plans, which the government has agreed to collaborate with us on rebuilding where we are. FRC owns 1 acre of land at Mount Pleasant on which the building is located. The surrounding lands have been on sale for over 30 years. 30 years and they can't be sold. So there must be a reason why it can't be sold commercially. So that is why we are pushing the argument that the land would have to be secured by government as green space, because the UN agencies in St. Lucia have recommended that the land will be retained as remaining green space in Castries. So if one has to look at perhaps a figure in terms of just our own rebuilding, you're talking anything in the vicinity of between $8 to $10 million to fully build and refit the existing property and have some operations of the Folk Research Center at Mount Pleasant on only 1 acre of land.
The Folk Research Center engaged civil society on the weekend in a traditional kudme, where volunteers cleared the property at Mount Pleasant of debris and shrubbery. The periodic cleanup campaigns, according to FRC Director Raisa Joseph, is to ensure that the sacred home of St. Lucia culture lives on. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.